This podcast is brought to you by iPlayHockey.ca. iPlay is the leading hockey insurance provider to coaches, camp instructors, spring and summer hockey leagues, and tournaments across Canada. If you need insurance for hockey, iPlay has you covered. iPlay also provides hockey players and coaches with a wide range of free tools, drills, and skills in their drill vault to enhance on-ice performance, and they provide crucial off-ice knowledge as well. So if you need insurance for a hockey team, league, or camp, or if you just want to teach your kids some new drills, head on over to iPlayHockey.ca and check out their new website.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Happy Olympic time and welcome to episode 267 of the Boys in the Booth podcast. Cody, Melbourne, and Abrams with you for this one. And guys, this episode is going to be great for three reasons that I can count, okay? Number one, it's the Olympics. We're talking about Team Canada. Best on best. Men's hockey is back for the first time in 12 years. We are going to recap Canada's first game of the tournament against Czechia on Thursday, a win for Canada. We also have never done like a post-game show kind of thing before. And lastly, NHL Hall of Famer Jeremy Roenick joins us for this one as well. Joining us now is a very special guest, a 9-time NHL All-Star, one of the most electrifying American players ever to lace them up. Drafted 8th overall by Chicago in 1988 and went on to score over 500 goals and over 1,200 points across 20 NHL seasons, became the only third American-born player to hit 500 goals, starred in multiple deep playoff runs, and later became a high-profile national broadcaster. He is JR, Jeremy Roenick. How you doing, JR? Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to be with you.
Let's start with the obvious. You're going to be in Brockville this Family Day weekend for the 2026 Brockville Winter Classic, you know, kind of bringing that rivalry between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins here to Brockville and the Thousand Islands, and I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Well, whenever you get the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers together, it's always a good time. It's ruckus, but it's always going to be good. You know, one of the better rivalries in all of hockey. And you know, when you can get together and play hockey, raise money for charity, and have a good time, especially see a lot of your old friends and a lot of your old foes, it's a lot of fun. So. There's no better place to do it than in Canada. I'm telling you, it's probably better to do it in Canada than to do it in Pennsylvania, to tell you the truth. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It absolutely will be. Well said. And, you mentioned getting together with old friends and old foes as well, one of them being Derian Hatcher. You had a ton of battles with him, and there's one story in particular involving a broken jaw. Maybe go into that for us.
Oh, he got me twice. He got me with my knee in the early 90s, and he got me in the jaw in the late 90s. He seemed to have my number physically. And, that's just part of the game. And, I played the game hard. I knocked out Mike Modano the night before. Derian broke my jaw. And, it's only fitting and right that the captain comes back and has a little bit of vengeance for his teammate. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Derian. Derian was the first American captain to win a Stanley Cup when they won with the Stars. I mean, there's so many great things about his family. I played with his brother Kevin. They're just two great guys, but great defensemen. And as much as I wanted to get him back, as much as I wanted to break his jaw or blow his knee out, there was always a lot of respect there between Derian and I, and we were teammates with the Olympic team. And all that stuff gets thrown under the bridge after the game is all over. It's those things happen, and it's the respect of the game that you got to honor.
That's really well said again. And JR, is there anything from your illustrious 20-year NHL career that sticks out to you the most, that you're most proud of, if you had to pick one thing?
Well, there's a few things that come to mind. 91 All-Star game in Chicago, my first All-Star game in my home building. That was awesome, scoring 500 goals. But I think if I had to pick one was the 2002 Olympics gold medal game against Canada. It was just such an epic rivalry that met on the biggest stage in the world, in the Olympic gold medal game. And even though we lost to Canada, it was still, we were considered a superpower at that time, and it was because of that generation why we're a superpower. And it all culminated right there on our home soil in the gold medal game, got a silver medal, which, any kind of medal in the Olympics, especially, you see what's happening right now over in Italy. It's a very proud thing to be a part of. And I got to do it. And I got to play against my arch rivals and the team that I respected the most, and that's Canada.
Absolutely. Talking to Jeremy Roenick at this time. JR, what do you make of the American team currently over in Italy, Milano Cortina?
Well, they're amazingly talented. There's no question about that. A little bit on the smaller side, but I'll tell you, their defensive end and their goaltending is probably the best in the tournament. Where I get a little bit nervous is, who's going to put the puck in the net. I think it's a big tournament for Austin Matthews, who needs to really show up on the world stage or on the big stage. He's done so many great things in the league. Scored so many goals and will be the highest goal scoring American of all time. But these are things that he's going to be remembered for. So I'm looking forward to and hoping he has a big Olympics. That they have speed, they have tenacity, they're well coached. That there's no question that they are one of the favorites over there in Italy. I just watched a little bit of the first game. Latvia is playing them pretty hard, but I still think it's going to be a Canadian American final, and we're going to do this all over again in the Olympics and watch an amazing game like we did in February of last year in the Four Nations Cup.
Yes, that's right. And I was going to ask you about that. I mean, what an amazing result that was. Obviously, a tough result for the Americans, but just the hockey that came out of really a made-up tournament. I'm sure you were blown away by the quality of play.
Well, it was one of the best things that the league has done in a long time. And I know that there's a couple other nations that would have liked to have been involved, but the big four, Sweden, Finland, America, Canada, is only fitting. And, that shows what kind of character hockey players have and how much respect they have, not only for the game, but for their country. To put their country's colors on, to go and represent their country means something different. And it brought out that passion. It brought out that ferocity, that fight to be the best team in the world. And whether it was the fights, whether it was the hits, whether it was the jawing back and forth, or just the awesome display of hockey that we saw. That's why hockey is the best game in the world, and that's why hockey players are the best athletes in the world.
Couldn't agree more, JR. And there's nothing like putting on your country's colors. That's for sure. And we talked about the American team at the Olympics in Italy. What do you make of the Canadian team? And did you get a chance to watch them at all today against Czechia?
Yeah, they're pretty dominant. There's no question. Just looking at the roster, that they're going to be a handful. They made it like easy work of the Czech today. So, and I don't think it's going to be any different with any team that they play until maybe they meet the Americans. But there's no question in my mind the Canadians are the team to beat. They are the favorites. Their only issue is going to be how Binnington plays in net, but he always seems to play really big in the big game. He won a Stanley Cup in Boston. He won the Four Nations in Boston. Now we'll see if he can pull a Boston off in Milan. See what happens. But they definitely have the best team in the tournament for sure.
JR, just a couple more for you, and again, appreciate your time today. We're so looking forward to having you in Brockville for what will be a great weekend, celebrating a great rivalry, and just in a community that loves its hockey. So, what are you looking forward to the most about coming here? Is it anyone in particular that you're going to see? Just what are you looking forward to the most?
It's, again, just being around the game, being around the guys, being around some of the guys I haven't seen for a while, but even more so being around the hockey fans, being around Canadians that love the game, that are going to come out and celebrate, us old farts that played the game, showing their passion and their respect for the game. Whether it's having a beer with everybody, telling stories, getting dressed in the locker room, just taking pictures, just the whole interaction that I love when I'm up in Canada. I know I am an American, but I feel I played like a Canadian, and I always love going up there and sharing in the love for the game and the passion of the game up there. So it's always a real treat for me. So I look forward to that.
Well, we look forward to having you, JR. It'll be an absolute honor and a pleasure. You are from Boston and one of the greatest American-born players of all time. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you
for your time today. Oh, my pleasure. And looking forward to seeing you this weekend at the Brockville Winter Classic. It's going to be great.
I love it. I love it. Everybody have a blast, and we'll see you all this weekend. Appreciate it.
All right, boys. That was great. Good stuff, Harper. Holy. The first thing that jumps out to me is, can you tell he's American? Can you tell he hates Matthews? Can you tell he loves the States, though? Good grief, JR. I'm so pumped that we have that audio, that you got to interview him. That's pretty cool. But can you tell he's American when he's saying, oh, yeah, when I'm up in Canada. So good.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, that would be the one thing that you pick out of all that great stuff in there. It's maybe the slight, just the little slight towards Matthews anyway. But glad you guys enjoyed that. He's great.
Well, it jumped out to me.
I think it was kind of really relevant, too, in the way that he picked out the 2002 Olympics against Canada, and kind of puts in perspective how much these guys who are over there right now care about this, how much they care about playing for their country and playing kind of that best on best. But man, I pulled up the list of the gold, silver, and bronze teams from that year, and wow, the names on there, it's really incredible. And I mean, I'm sure we're going to be thinking that way about the 2026 Olympics and 24 years from now, but it's crazy looking at this list.
I was thinking about that today, man, watching this game, thinking like, we have the best player in the world. We probably have the second best player in the world. We might have the third best player in the world, and they're all on Team Canada right now. Like, it's insane. So yeah, looking back on this tournament in 10 years, we might think that this is the greatest collection of players ever, or we might just think, maybe it's the new norm and it's just amazing players left, right, and center every 4 years. So we should get into it. We should talk about the game that happened today. Harp, I'll let you tee it up.
Yeah, for sure. Before we do that, again, thanks to Jeremy Roenick, thanks to Matt Murley for the episode previous to this one. It's been a great week for us here on the pod, so looking forward to keeping it going. And we will be doing more of these post-game style kind of shows after Canada plays a game in Milano Cortina. So, Chad, yes, off your note there, let's get going. So, Canada, with their opening game on Thursday morning into the afternoon, a 5-0 victory over Czechia in Milano Cortina. Handled the Czechs pretty easily. Maybe a bit of a surprise that Jordan Binnington got the start, but he was solid. He gets the shutout. Canada off to a 1-0 start going into their second game on Friday against the Swiss, and puck drop for that one, 10:40 a.m. Eastern time. So thoughts on Canada's opening game in Milano Cortina, guys? Pretty impressive performance in a 5-0 win over the Czechs. BetterHelp is the paid partner of this video. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it more convenient to get you started. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy more comfortable and convenient. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Your next chapter starts today. Get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp online therapy at betterhelp.com/boysinthebooth in paid partnership with BetterHelp.
Yeah, I went into that game kind of feeling a bit nervous. I don't know why, but just, not really knowing what to expect. Are they going to be up and at it and off the hop here? I looked at the other games so far, and it seemed like teams like, Italy, well, Italy in particular, but also Slovakia came out hot. And I kind of feel like it had something to do with that ice surface and the different dimensions, and they've had a little more time over there. They're close by, used to the European system, all of that stuff. And you're kind of wondering if Canada's gonna have the fate of Finland and kind of come out looking a bit flat or not used to it or whatever it may be. But it was about all of 2 minutes into that game, and I was like, we're okay. I feel good now. Like that's out of my system. I watched them fly out and lay the body. Every single player on the ice was laying the body, including McDavid, with like the biggest hit I've ever seen him throw in the corner first shift. It was just exhilarating to watch those guys come out like that. And after
McKinnon
that,
too.
I mean, damn. McKinnon had it out for Radko Gudas that game.
Yeah.
Every chance
it was
he
awesome.
could get, he was going after him. It was so great to watch.
Okay, before we move on from the start, then let's talk about it. Flying out of the gates, as you talked about, Case, those two guys in particular, McDavid and McKinnon, throwing hits, like, you can't tell me that this doesn't mean more than almost anything in the entire world to these guys. Like, having never played in the Olympics, most players at this tournament, with the exception of guys like Crosby and Doughty on Team Canada, this means a lot, and it's so obvious. Connor McDavid in particular, like, throwing the biggest body check of his life, it reminded me, like, I was thinking back to the game that they played the Maple Leafs just before the break, and McDavid wasn't really noticeable, and people were kind of thinking, like, okay, maybe he's saving it, maybe he doesn't want to get hurt before the Olympic break. And then to see him come out of the gates where he's just shooting everything, putting everything on net, flying around, buzzing around. I think he had 14 scoring chances to Czechia's 12. So he outchanced Czechia by himself. Those two guys in particular, for me, how they flew out of the gates, were throwing the body, doing everything to win. It just made it so obvious to me that this means more than anything else in the world to them, besides maybe a Stanley Cup. But it might even mean more. I don't know.
Yeah, when you have McDavid flying around, 6 shots on goal, 3 assists, throwing hits, like, that's, I'm in. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
I'm convinced they care. They're in.
And he was putting everything on net. Like, he had the 6 shots, but it felt like he missed 2 or 3 wide, right? And poor Dostal in net, like, as he's got one wave coming in on him. It's Connor McDavid and Macklin Celebrini being dynamic offensively. He's got the next line coming at him, and it's McKinnon. He's got another line coming at him, and it's Marner and Stone and Crosby. And it's like, God, guy can't catch a break. Like, these are all world talents on every single line here. And God, I hate to just do like positive Canada talk the entire time, but I think that's what every episode after this is going to be, because these games are just making you realize what we've missed out on for so long. The Four Nations was a little piece of it, but all 4 of those teams are really good, right? And it was NHL rules. It was mid-season. It was a bit different. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but Olympics is just another level. You get to see what other teams and other countries are able to do, and the players and the teams are able to scrape together. And yeah, this is just like, Canada is just so good, and it's so fun to see it now on the world stage.
Well, just like, I talked about with JR there in the interview, there's nothing like putting on your country's colors and your country's crest, and going out and playing for your country. And it means the world to these guys. McDavid, you go back to his comments after the World Baseball Classic, how, we need best on best. We've been wanting it for so long, and it's criminal that it's taken us 12 years to get it again. But here we are, and so grateful to have it back. And then McKinnon with a great quote the other day too. Excuse me, that I'm not here to enjoy myself. I'm here to win, and that is totally him. That is totally the two of them, and they certainly played like it today. It was evident how much they care. And are we really surprised? Of course not. And they are going to be pivotal factors each and every game for this Canadian team that has a real shot at winning a gold medal in Milano Cortina.
Yeah, and there's the quote you're talking about from McKinnon. He said, "I want to enjoy myself, but I'm not here to enjoy myself." He said, "I'm going to do everything I can to play well, and hopefully it's enough, and hopefully I can contribute." "Don't you have to take all this in?" "No," he responded. "No, I don't." He's there for one thing and one thing only, and that's a gold medal.
Yeah, I love it. And that is so him. Like, it's great. And, again, the biggest thing that stuck out to me, aside from the way McDavid, McKinnon, and others played, was that 3 of the 5 goals that Canada scored came from new additions to the roster, guys that weren't on that Four Nations squad. Macklin Celebrini, the 19-year-old, gets the first goal of the game, late in the period to put Canada up by 1. By the way, guys, don't know if you saw the post earlier on Instagram. I think it was Hockey Forever was the account that posted it. Celebrini has scored in his USHL debut,
yes,
his NCAA debut, his NHL debut, and now his Olympic debut. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what this kid continues to do. So he gets a goal. Not on that Four Nations roster. Bo Horvat with a great goal, and what a pretty sequence that was leading to his goal. And then Nick Suzuki as well. So that was the biggest thing that I wanted to bring up. New additions coming in, being factors, making impacts right away.
And think about just getting the nerves out of the way for those guys. First game to put up a goal and be right in the mix. You don't feel like you're that outsider from the Four Nations, that clique of a group. But Bo Horvat, I think maybe outside of McDavid and McKinnon, I think look like the third hungriest guy out there in terms of just energy and flying. I honestly, hand up, didn't know he was that fast. Just quick, flying around the ice, and it just seemed like a threat at all times. And I mean, great little drag play by Marchand, kind of bringing the players to him, opening up space for Horvat, and then flying up the middle and just making it look easy on that breakaway. So
how about that burst,
I'm really happy with Bo Horvat.
Yeah, that burst of speed through the middle. Like, I'm with you, Case. I didn't know he was that quick. Like, I knew he was fast, but my God, turn the burners on and then just slip it 5-hole. Like, what a beautiful goal. I wanted to bring up Horvat as well because I thought he had a fantastic game too. He really stood out for me. And I wanted to say, like, does this mean Bennett is a 13th forward? Like, for sure, going forward? Like, do they bring in a guy like Seth Jarvis? We're talking about new guys, right? Seth Jarvis was on the Four Nations team, but is on the outside looking in game 1. If they get everybody involved, which John Cooper was, trying to do more so than some other coaches, namely the Swedish coach who only played Philip Forsberg a minute 7 seconds and didn't play OEL at all despite dressing him. If John Cooper is going to get someone else in the lineup, who does he take out? I think it has to be Sam Bennett. He played the least today, but he wasn't bad either. Cooper was making a point to get everybody involved, and Bennett was involved, but I think he wants to get Jarvis in too.
I don't think you see Seth Jarvis, and at least until the France game, maybe, just to, you have to shake things up and see what's new. Maybe there's a couple knocks along the way, but at least for when it comes time for the meaningful games, I think Bennett's going to stick in there because, Horvat took himself out of the conversation now, but Bennett, when he's playing with Hagel and Marchand, that line is just a small ball of rage. And it's such an identity line when they get out on the ice. I watched one shift. Bennett came out like good, hard shot on goal, drove through the crease, hit the goalie. Classic. And you just know he's going to keep doing stuff like that. The officiating was very North American. They said that on the broadcast, and it looked that way. They were letting them get away with a lot. It was a very physical game, very little penalties. I mean, that trip was questionable, but still the right call. So they called the game well. And I think that if Bennett can be out there getting under the other team's skin, you just let him stay out there. And he has to play against USA.
This podcast is sponsored by SeatGeek, the absolute best ticket app out there. SeatGeek takes the confusion out of buying tickets, making it quick and easy to get the best deals to tickets at your favorite sporting event. SeatGeek does this awesome thing where they score each ticket out of 10 based on its value, so you know whether you're getting a good or a bad deal. Last time I got tickets to see the Devils play, I first saw red tickets. I waited it out, monitored the price in-app, and once I saw green, I pulled the trigger. SeatGeek makes it that easy. And here's the best part. SeatGeek has completely hooked us up. Boys in the Booth listeners get $20 off their first purchase on SeatGeek with the promo code BOYSINTHEBOOTH in all caps. Click the link in our description to download the app, and remember to get your discounted tickets using the code BOYSINTHEBOOTH in all caps. Get great seats for a fraction of the cost with SeatGeek.
Yeah, I hear you. The reason I bring up Jarvis and wanting, to get him in and wondering what's going to happen is because, you play a back-to-back, you have extra guys, might as well use them. That's point number one. Point number two is John Cooper didn't have to play Sam Bennett today at all if he didn't want to. He's technically the 13th forward, according to the line rushes going into today's game. But John Cooper clearly took a different approach than some of the other coaches have in this tournament so far and said, look, I got 13 good guys. I want to get 13 guys some decent minutes up front. And that's what he did. So I'm just wondering if maybe they think, tomorrow isn't necessarily a must-win game. Maybe of course, like they all feel like must-win games, but maybe they get Seth Jarvis in. Is the drop-off really that different? I don't think so, especially not the way Coop looks at it.
I mean, you're not harming anyone switching things up in the next two games, but when it comes time for the medals, I'd like to see that clutch asshole in the lineup.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe I just hate him because I left him off my team to begin with. But
that's it.
No, I'm just trying to get Seth Jarvis some ice time here. Imagine going all the way to Italy and not getting any ice time. But Case, you mentioned something too about the broadcast, how they were talking about how the games are being called NHL style. But speaking of the broadcast, just a very quick note. How much of a fever dream does it feel like hearing Chris Cuthbert and Mike Johnson calling games together? Like, it's so odd.
Okay, and then passing it to Elliot Friedman, James Duffy,
Ron
McLean. I was like...
Yeah, Kevin Bieksa.
It's a mixed bag for sure.
Yeah, I think it's great, though. It's fantastic.
I wanted to talk about one thing from the broadcast, and this will be the only negative thing I talk about on this episode. And this isn't even that big of a negative, but I'm already sick of the with NHL players caveat on every single stat they say. It just, there's something about it. They're like, oh, that's the first time ever with NHL players. It's like, okay, yeah, we know. He's the youngest ever with NHL players. Canada hasn't allowed a goal in 223 minutes with NHL players. It's like, we need a different way to say that. It's
like a pharmaceutical commercial case, and that's the fine print at the bottom. It's like, say whatever you want about the stat with NHL players. It's like at the very end, just said really quickly.
I know it's a stupid thing to get annoyed with, but I was like, okay, I understand.
I want to talk about
fair.
lines, guys. What do you think of the lines going into the game? And I know they didn't stay together really throughout the entire game because of the 13 forwards. You're seeing some different matchups. You're seeing power play lines, whatever. But what do you think of the initial lines going in? I can put them on the screen if you need to.
So I'll get to that question as part of something I wanted to talk about. And there's three things that I went into as kind of question marks going into this first game, at least. And I will say that all three of them check off those boxes were good. The first one being the line combinations, and will the chemistry be there, and will there be a shooter? Will someone be stepping up as the goal scorer? Because the first one that comes to mind is Marner, Crosby, and Stone. Like probably outside of McDavid, the three best passers in the league are all on one line. And who is it going to be? Well, that Stone goal, that was a thing of beauty. And that started the check mark on that box. But then guys like McDavid and McKinnon and Horvat just coming out shooting at will, I felt pretty confident that I don't have to worry about that. And it kind of looked like every line was clicking out there.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about the Marner goal is his new name is Mitch Bobby Orr Marner. That is the most Mitch Marner goal ever, for him to make the beautiful pass backdoor and fly like Bobby Orr did when he scored, by the way. But Mitch is making the pass and does the Bobby Orr there where he's diving over the player out front. Just the most Mitch Marner goal ever, or Mitch Marner pass for a goal ever. Like, just
the Obby Bor when you make the pass instead.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And
to his Vegas teammate as well.
That's right. They looked like teammates out there today. Like, they were just buzzing together.
That was a thing of beauty for sure. And the fact that those two, especially for Marner, getting to play with Crosby on a line, we heard how much he just raved about Crosby from his time at the Four Nations, like everybody. But it's just great for Marner just to be with a guy like that in the middle, and then his captain in Vegas. And I want to talk about Stone for a second. I was totally not on the ball with him being on this team. Didn't think of him really at all. Just his name never crossed my mind, but he was a big part of that Four Nations squad. And for whatever reason, when it came time to do our mock Canada rosters, I didn't have him there. And
you and me both.
So I am sorry.
He was certainly good today, and he's had a great year too, and he does everything right, offensively, defensively. I will say though, as much as I did love that line, with Marner, Crosby, and Stone, I have a feeling it's not going to last, because I feel like Crosby is going to sneak up into the top six, and I feel like a perfect shutdown line, because Crosby, remember, he is aging and he's a primarily offensive player. Like, he's responsible defensively, sure, but he's primarily an offensive player, right? I wonder if they throw Nick Suzuki in the middle there, and that becomes a total shutdown line when they need it most. And then you just slide Crosby up to play with his boy Nate Dogg on the wing, or put Nate Dogg on the wing and Crosby down the middle. And then that becomes more of an offensive line, because I also loved Suzuki's game today as well. I thought he was a jitterbug out there. He gets the goal, but he was making some great passes. I thought he was good tonight. So yeah, I wonder if Marner, Suzuki, and Stone becomes the all shutdown line when they need the most. What do you guys think about that?
That's your best three defensive players all on one line. So when you need the shutdown, that makes a lot of sense. But I do kind of appreciate the way they've built these lines so far, with kind of like, for the most part, the guy who's going to be the puck retriever, and then the two guys are going to be goal scorers. And at the moment, Tom Wilson's clearly the puck retriever on that one. Just bang bodies. Here's your only job: hit people and get the puck to McDavid. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And you have Hagel's that type of guy. Marchand, for the most part, is that type of guy. You actually have probably four on the fourth, or three on the fourth line, and then Bennett as well. All are like that. So I like the way that they've split it up in that way, but once you take Suzuki if it's Reinhart on that wing with McKinnon and Crosby, then you start kind of running out of that mix, getting away from that mix. So it's like Hagel has to stick there, or Suzuki has to stick there. There's got to be one guy like that. But I get what you're saying. Like by the time you're playing USA, a top six has to form at some point. Guys have to be on the ice for 20 minutes, and could go that way.
And Reinhardt's another guy too, right? If you want to put together an all defense line, like I know the guy scored, what did he score the one year? Like 58 goals or something, but he is also a Selke candidate too. So he could definitely be on a shutdown line and fit right in.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't talked about Binnington a ton, and
let's do it.
We really should. Like, you know, for me, guys, it's like, okay, like, you know, going into the Four Nations, didn't have a great feeling about him. Well, we saw what he did at the Four Nations. Then it's like, okay, Benner has my respect. Not to mention the fact that before that he won a Stanley Cup. And then this season rolls around, and again, I'm like, oh, great. Like, no, he can't be the starting goaltender on this team. It's got to be Logan Thompson or somebody else. Well, he gets the start in this game, looks terrific against Czechia. John Cooper with the great quote after the game that, I made my mind up about 358 days ago about starting him. But I mean, there's no way around it. He's had a terrible NHL season on a really bad St. Louis team, but it doesn't matter. It's like JR said earlier in the interview that he seems to rise to the occasion in big moments, and he did today. So yet another instance of Jordan Binnington proving me wrong and making me feel bad and wanting to apologize.
Case, let me just get in here first before you jump in. I'm sharing the screen of Money Puck right now. Goal saved above expected leaders and guys who are at the very bottom of the league in this category. Jordan Binnington is, according to Money Puck, the worst goalie in the league this season. And according to Money Puck as well, Logan Thompson is third best in this stat, goals saved above expected, which tries to account for the environment of workload that a goalie gets, right? Where the shots are coming from, how many shots you get, and it kind of accounts for how well your defense is playing, whatever. Like it's supposed to be a contextual stat. It's not perfect, but it's supposed to be contextual. Whether you think Money Puck's model is perfect or not, you have to agree that Jordan Binnington has had a horrible year this year, and Logan Thompson has had a fantastic year this year. What a wild decision to start Binnington in this game. Am I wrong for saying that? Like,
not if you ask John Cooper.
if he didn't win the Four Nations, like, he would have never been starting this game. But our memory is just fixated on that moment. What about against Winnipeg in the playoffs, where he blew the 2-goal lead and lost in overtime, right, in the first round against them? Do you guys remember that? Like, what about that moment that we're not fixated on, where Binnington, wasn't as clutch as everyone's saying? But again, like, it doesn't matter because he comes through with a performance like this today. He is the biggest gamer I think I've ever laid eyes on. Like, he's an enigma to me. I just don't understand how this guy operates. Did he quit on the St. Louis Blues? Does he get magical powers when he puts on a red and white jersey? Like, I just don't understand this guy. It's insane.
First of all, I want to say that this is box number 2 checked off of worries I had coming into this tournament. And safe to say I'm not worried anymore after that performance. But Chad, John Cooper, he rewards his guys. Jordan Binnington is not his guy when he's in St. Louis. He rewards his guys. And I think there was no doubt that he was going to play him because it's John Cooper. Now, you look at Czechia, and they have Vejmelka, who they scratched today, who is tied for the lead in wins in the NHL. Mm-hmm. So they went with the hot hand. The last 10 games, Dostal has been the best goalie in the National Hockey League. So they went with the hot hand. John Cooper is John Cooper. Cooper's going to coop, and he's going to reward his guys. But
Cooper's going to coop.
Quickly, I was comfortable with Jordan Binnington in the net. And it's weird because I'm not usually a fan of this style unless it's Jonathan Quick, but just like comfortably chaotic goaltending.
Yep.
It felt like just in control in the sprawl saves and in the chaos of, you know, crease battles. And then the last thing that made me really comfortable with Binnington is when he got bodied at the side of the net there and didn't do anything about it, didn't seem to be shaken at all, and waved off Thomas Harley from, you know, jostling with the other player. It's like, okay, he's dialed.
Yeah, he's dialed. Dude, that 100% comfortably chaotic is, I think, how you put it, and that makes sense.
Well said.
That's very well said. Very active stick today from him, both in his
looked like a
poke
road
checks.
hockey goalie.
Yeah, both in his poke checks, but also in playing the puck. I forgot how good of a puck handler he is too. So, yeah, just, I mean, he's an enigma, guys. He's the biggest gamer on the planet.
That's something that they were talking about watching like the Sweden-Italy game and Finland-Slovakia afterwards. They were saying it kind of seems like goalies are going to stay in their net in this barn because the puck was doing crazy things off the boards. It's slanted into the boards, the ice, and
tighter corners too.
It's tighter as well. They didn't really know how the puck was going to play. Well, Binner was not worried about that at all. Like, he was everywhere on the ice. He even like toe dragged around behind the net one time, and I'm like, all right.
When he's feeling it, there's nobody else like him. But it's just insane, guys. Like, objectively, one of the worst goalies in the league this year, but then puts on that red, white, and black and turns it on.
We interrupt this podcast to tell you about one of our favorite partners, Sign Up Expert. If you're a sports bettor, whether brand new, casual, or hardcore, listen very carefully because this ad is for you. Guys, line shopping for the best odds matters, and that's why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books to maximize their profits. Thankfully, there has never been a better time to get signed up, and we are here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide. When you use our link at signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth, you can get access to all of the top sportsbooks in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique benefits. Most importantly, all of these sportsbooks have valuable sign-up offers for new users. And when you register through our link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one, allowing you to start line shopping with an enhanced bankroll. Guys, it's simple. When you use multiple sportsbooks, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful and profitable sports betting. So, if you want to take advantage of these incredible benefits and support our brand at the same time, please consider signing up for your next sportsbook through our link in the description below, signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth. If you're planning on signing up for a new sportsbook anyways, you might as well use our link and support the boys. So, one more time, that's signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, another note to make, there was an injury. Josh Morrissey did leave the game. He didn't return. We'll see what happens with him going into Friday, tomorrow, against Team Switzerland in Milano Cortina, but he did exit the game with an injury. Of course, he missed the Four Nations face-off final back in last February with an illness. So looks like we're going to get a look at Travis Sanheim on the back end here. Anything really to be concerned about here? I don't think so.
You guys are doing great at running down the list of boxes here. My third and final box was, what does the back end look like kind of as you get deeper down the list? Because I feel so confident, and Makar and Taves, obviously, like that's one of the best pairings in the world on Colorado, playing 82 games together. And then I became a lover of Colton Parayko after the Four Nations face-off. I think that he's so steady on the puck. He's a massive body, hard to play against, not looking to do anything dangerous. He'll get to the middle and fire it down the ice. Like, he's not going to make a mistake. And Josh Morrissey has always been a very good puck mover and very confident on the puck. So he balances well with Parayko. So I love the top four. And then I was worried about after that. Well, I thought Drew Doughty looked amazing today.
Yep.
Really good, steady, like a rock. Again, kind of like Colton Parayko, where he's not making any mistakes out there and just totally committed to playing defense, which I love that. And then Thomas Harley, same thing. Very confident in him, very comfortable on the puck, and a great mover. So I really liked what I saw there. It makes me not too scared about the possibility of moving forward without Morrissey. I'd like to see Morrissey back in the lineup, obviously, but if Harley moves up, then I'm still comfortable with that. I did think Theodore was maybe a bit shaky today at times, but maybe that's a bit of jitters. We know he's a good player, and there's a lot more to come from there. But I think the depth currently is in good hands for Team Canada.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not worried at all, and hopefully it's not too serious for Josh Morrissey. Hopefully he can be back before the end of the tournament, because I heard someone say today, I forget who I was listening to, but also sick at the Four Nations face-off, Josh Morrissey, and couldn't play in the final. So that's tough. Like, back to back men's brutal. Like best on best tournaments here, and he's out for different reasons, but still out nonetheless. So tough for him. Hopefully he comes back soon and is able to play.
I think I know where you might have heard that. I think it was 3 minutes ago when Harp said it, when he was gearing up this whole defense talk.
Is that what you said?
You said Josh Morrissey was sick at the Four Nations face-off.
Okay, well, Harp, why is Case calling me out for this? You should be calling me out for this. I'm sorry. I have a defense.
I'll be honest, that totally just went woo.
I have a defense. When I'm looking at line combos here, I'm looking up Drew Doughty's stats because we're talking about him. So my mind's doing a bunch of different things right now.
I forget who said it. Well, Frig, I'm the guy who said it, and I forget who said it.
My brain's like, great. I know I heard that somewhere. 2 minutes ago, idiot.
You can't say I'm not paying attention here, Harp.
That's awesome. Anything else from Canada's opener, the 5-0 win over Czechia today?
I get two very, very quick things. Number one, Lucas Dostal, I think, could steal Czechia a game or two here.
Totally.
Even though, the 5 go in against him, I thought he had a great game, especially the first half. I thought he looked really good and controlled. Number two is I can't believe Macklin Celebrini is 19 years old. He looks 29 and in his prime. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he looked so good out there. I love him on the first line with McDavid, and getting him power play time on the second power play unit as well. I was worried they're going to underutilize him, play him as a, bottom 6 forward or something like that. It's just unnatural, but he looks so good, and I'm really happy with that. And then that kind of drives me into my next point, is the power play. Don't take a penalty against this team.
No.
The one goal was just sweet music to my ears listening to him. Crosby to McDavid to McKinnon, and you're like, oh, the heck. Like,
just classical music playing in your ears right perfect.
There. And it looked like they were going low to high, and they got it up to Crosby, and he kind of pivoted around and went back down low to McDavid. I'm like, I felt like that was another time to go to the quarterback. And then McDavid just does 1,700 stick handles in 2 seconds and gets out front to McKinnon on what felt like a nothing play, and he scored a tap in. And on the broadcast, they're talking, they're like, and the defensemen skate to the bench, shaking their heads, talking about the Czechia defense, because they're like,
what do you do?
You play in the power play in the NHL, and there's 2, maybe 3 guys who are the trigger men, and you kind of maybe shade a little bit towards them when you're penalty killing, because they're the guy who it's a Pasternak in Boston. You're trying to get the puck to Pasternak so he can rip it. It's Ovechkin in Washington. There's a couple guys on each power play. There's 5 on the ice at all times with Canada. And there's no shading, because you shade a little bit to Crosby, then McDavid's open backdoor to McKinnon, and it just looks so good. And that's going to be such an important role or important factor for this team, like especially when they're playing USA. Like, that power play's got to be clicking.
Yeah, it's Harlem Globetrotter stuff. 5 number ones out there. It's insane.
It is. And again, like, Czechia, just, I wanted to say this, like, looking at their roster, some really good players there, but the more you go down the lineup, the depth just really thins out. And that's where Canada has such an advantage. Like there's that star power, but also like you could argue like on every line there's a top guy from each of their respective NHL teams on any given line on this team, up front, on the back end, and whatnot. And just the depth is incredible. Same with the US as well. Boy, oh boy, that matchup is going to be awesome. But that's what really that's where it really comes down to, I think, for me.
You can't
is the
play
depth.
Roenick or Radko Gudas against Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid because they're all on separate lines. Like, it's impossible to line match against them. So that's definitely going to work in their favor. And just speaking of Czechia, a player who just continues to creep his way up on my list of just truly world-class talent is H's. Every single time I watch him, ever since that trade, really, he's stood out to me. But he looked rapid out there. Like he I think he'd be in Canada's top 6 the way he plays the game. He's so fast, so creative, kind of all over the place. And I thought he looked really good today.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Great point. And you can tell that he plays with Nate McKinnon, the Nate Dog in Colorado, the way that he is playing with so much speed and the stick handling and just the way that he's able to just come downhill like a truck, like Nate does. I've really noticed that. Like there's just a similar style there to me that Natchez has kind of adopted working with Nate because he looks faster. The speed is what stands out to me the most about Marty Natchez. Good call, Case.
I think it's much harder to play with Nathan McKinnon than Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid uses the whole compass rose out there, and he brings the players to him and hits the open guys. Nathan McKinnon is north-south. And if
got one speed, go.
Get on the train or get out of the way of the tracks because like that's all. He's one speed north-south going to the net. And if you can't keep up with that, like Natchez can, then you're not going to fit in. And that's why a guy like Lehkonen has been playing on that line for so long, is because it worked. And you got to find someone who works with Nathan McKinnon. But I think anyone could work with Connor McDavid. Wait, I might get a point in an NHL game if I played 100 with Connor McDavid, like
put your stick on the ice like Red Green tells you, and you get a few goals.
So
there you go.
Hand up. I didn't know Natchez was this good, guys. Like when the trade happened, like I had no idea that he could be this good. Like he gets better every single game. And I didn't know if he was going to be as good as even Aho, right? Like Aho was the top dog in Carolina. I didn't know Natchez was this good. Like, so good today.
Absolutely. That's for sure. Let's look ahead to the game Friday morning, 10:40 a.m. Eastern time, no, that's a mistake. 3:10 p.m. Eastern time. There we go. Was thinking of the game on Sunday against France, but it's Switzerland, guys, the next opponent, and they've got some names: Fiala, Hischier, Niederreiter, Kurashev having a good year in San Jose, Pius Suter. Leafs legend Dennis Malgin. There you go, Chad. Some names there. And on the back end, Yossi, Siegenthaler, Mosier. Boy, those guys are going to be playing a ton of minutes against Canada.
Did you forget that Timo Meier had 2 goals today?
Ooh, Timo.
Left him off the list.
Forgot.
Weird.
I did.
Intentionally.
I apologize.
He was trying to mention Tage Thompson's power play goal today. That's what he was trying to think of.
What a diss.
But Meyer as well. They've got some guys, but it's going to be a challenge against Canada, no question. So
looking at those pairings that Chad's put on the screen for Switzerland, it's like they're putting a very good NHLer on each line. One on each line. But you might have to form a shutdown pair here when you're playing against Canada and play them 25 minutes a night or 25 minutes tomorrow night. I'm excited for that game. A lot of Devils playing in that one, so obviously I'm going to be in, but cheering for Canada. There is something before we look too far into the future here that I want to point out. My last point is they did a quick cut to the bench, and I just shook my head. John Cooper, Bruce Cassidy, Pete DeBoer, Rick Tocchet. Like, what a lineup of coaches. Like, you talk about the lines on Team Canada. Just look at the coaches. All of those are just world class. And like 3 of the guys I'd consider the best coaches in the league. Maybe you're missing out on, a Paul Maurice or something like that, but it's just crazy.
Yeah, the coaches, I did the same thing when I saw Crosby chatting with Rick Tocchet. I was like, oh yeah, like he's there too. Like, what the heck? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's an elite staff, that's for sure. And guys, like Pete DeBoer isn't even employed by an NHL team right now. He's there, still a great coach. No one's questioning that. And then all the other guys that you mentioned, led by John Cooper. It's an amazing staff. That's for sure.
How many Stanley Cup finals has Pete DeBoer been to? 5 or 4? Like,
yeah.
How many game 7s has he won? A lot. So
yeah.
All right, boys. Yeah. Should we save our breath because we're back tomorrow, or what?
Yeah. Let's put a bow on this thing. Really great, I think, guys, that we're doing this sort of thing for the first time. Something different, sort of, a later post-game reaction to the games that Canada plays in this tournament, in the winter games in Milano Cortina. So great to have best on best Olympic hockey back. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. So Canada's weekend coming up. Preliminary round continues in men's hockey in Milano Cortina. They've got Switzerland Friday afternoon, puck drop 3:10 Eastern time, and then back at it Sunday against France. And the time of that one is 10:40 a.m. Eastern time. So get up on Sunday morning, put a little Baileys in the coffee, have a nice breakfast, and then you can watch Canada take on France at the Olympics in Italy. So that will do it for this episode 267. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks again to Jeremy Roenick for joining us as well. We are back tomorrow. Take care.